All right, so in this video, we're talking about how all the biggest faces in every space are really making their generational wealth and really making their money, and how people like Hormozi, Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzhi, all these people may say one thing, but what they're doing on the back end is actually completely different, and it's things that most people are not understanding. And so the thing is, everyone generally just looks at these people's products and assumes that it's the full reason for how they made so much money. They just created the best product ever, must have never been seen before, which honestly could not be further from the truth. And so everyone in general thinks that these entrepreneurs made their millions from, Alex Hormozi, Gym Software, marketing, Andrew Tate, Hustlers University, his well-known product, Iman Gadzhi, his agency and his courses. And so everyone thinks that, oh, it's just the products. The products are just there. They just have to be the best. And yes, of course, the products are what's making the conversions, is making the money. But the truth that people don't talk about is that the money is coming from something a whole lot bigger that was planned out. And it was an evergreen move that will position them in a place to always be making money, even if their product just ceased to exist the next day. And so that's what we're going to be going over in the next 5-10 minutes in this video. And so the reality here is that these entrepreneurs have mastered the art of something else. It's not product design, it's not product creation. It's actually personal brand monetization, attention economics, which is the backbone of building a personal brand, of marketing and promotion in general, and trust-based marketing, right? Doing it the right way with strategic intent. And so to look at what the real business model is, what they've actually done here, step one is that they acquired the attention, right? The attention acquisition. And so there's a few different ways that people can go about doing this, but generally we'll just say the main pillars of this are controversial statements, knowing the importance of pattern interrupts, of keeping attention retained, strong positioning, to have that strategic intent, to be known as that person that doesn't just yap on the internet, but actually has strong points and can really shift beliefs. And then at the end of the day, they had consistent content to back all this. They were being seen a lot. They're all over the place. So now step two is the trust development stage of things. And so this looks like value demonstration, proof of expertise, result sharing, community building, right? Where a lot of people can't do this. A lot of people can acquire the attention in the first place, but then it kind of falls off when they can't demonstrate the value. They have no proof, they have no results to share, and they're not able to take it one step further and actually build a community with that audience. Because getting 1 million views doesn't mean that you are a master at building a community. It means that you went viral one time. Right, but getting millions of views multiple times and building a strong community means that you are able to take that attention from one place and turn it into something else, and hopefully dollars later down the line. And so now step three, brand monetization, right? Where again, a lot of people can do step one and step two, but then they fail at step three and they end up not actually making any money. So people like these people right here, they had every single step already planned out, right? They weren't going into this like, oh, this worked. Maybe we'll do something here, and then we'll go back and do more of this. They knew and they understood this roadmap right here, right? They had it all planned out beforehand. They actually had the strategy to it. And so with the brand monetization, this looks like just having that figured out in the first place. So high ticket offerings, strategic partnerships, acquisition opportunities, like for especially people like Alex Hormozi, even Iman Gadzhi has talked about acquisition opportunities that he's had, media deals. Really, just once you build a personal brand, once you build brand and it's strong, you have endless potential. And so the reason why all this works in the first place, we have the trust factor. And so at the end of the day, people buy from people, right? People that they really trust. They don't buy the product itself. They're more likely to buy from people. Another reason is that brands pay for attention, right? So this kind of just falls back to the fact that there are so many different opportunities for monetization. The reason why all this works, just having trust in a certain market with a certain group of people allows you to sell a product, right? People buy from people. Brands pay for attention, right? Partner up with big brands to make stuff happen. Companies acquire influence, right? People like Andrew Tate could work with probably, honestly, any big company that you can probably think of. He could work with them because the companies want to acquire that influence that he has under his name, right? Because they want to branch out and basically tackle that exact influence that he has in the market and in the audience that he has built for himself. And so at the end of the day, trust equals transferable value, right? And so he who has the trust is ultimately who's going to crush it. And these people all have the trust. It's something that they've been understanding for many, many years. I mean, 5, 10 years, 15 years, way longer than a lot of us have even really thought about this. And so now the compound effect. Content creates credibility. Credibility creates opportunities. Opportunities create wealth. Wealth creates more opportunities, right? So this is something they all had figured out, and they they understood this entire roadmap, this entire process. And so now the implementation framework. If you're someone watching this video right now and you're like, okay, well, these people are huge, they're exceptional. Like how is this really going to work? What you really want to do is reverse engineer how to go about this and what all of this means for you, what you can learn from these guys, because you might not be going for some crazy similar path as someone like Alex Hormozi, but that's not to say that you can't learn from the exact steps that he did and use those notes to do better in your business, in your personal brand. And so now, to leave you with the implementation framework, we're going to break it down into a few different phases. So with the step one, content strategy, what you can do after you leave this video is build that out, right? So build out what that's going to look like, how you're going to be putting out daily short form content, weekly long form content to build that trust that we're talking about, and consistent messaging and clear positioning, right? So this is all going to come down to the strategy. If you don't have a strategy on the backbone, how are you going to put out consistent content? How are you going to have the ideas? How are you going to put out the weekly long form content? How are you going to know what the best piece of long form value is for your audience? How are you going to have that consistent messaging if you don't know your brand's approach? You don't have that clear goal in mind, and how are you going to position yourself if you don't even know what positioning that you want to have in the first place, right? And so now with the trust funnel, which is where we actually warm up these leads more and aren't just going for views, but are actually going for the conversions. We have value delivery, audience building, of course, strategic monetization, and system automation, right? Building everything on the back end. Now with brand scaling, there's a few components of this, getting on multiple platforms, thinking about strategic partnerships, if that's the route that you want to take, more business opportunities as more present themselves, and then media presence across all platforms, right? So you're really just scaling this to the next level, like we've seen from people like Andrew Tate, Hormozi, and Iman Gadzhi. So now the truth about scaling is that what they sell is secondary. Like I was saying in the beginning of this video, it's not about their product. It's not about what they sell, because products change, offers evolve, markets shift, but brand remains, right? It is an evergreen long-term thing that they will always have. And so like I was saying earlier, even if their products cease to exist, they would still be making an amazing amount of money because of what they've already built. So that is why brand is primary, right? Because it attracts opportunities, commands premium pricing, of course, creates lasting value, and it, at the end of the day, is what builds real wealth, right? If you look at anyone in a market that owns and has the authority in that market, they have, they've built that brand, they've built that trust, and they have that audience, right? They're not even really running out and attracting and chasing all these people. They're more so attracting it and building the brand and building the foundation of what they built. So now with action steps, number one is going to be to start building, right? So this is basically laying out all this strategy on a doc like this. And so it's defining your position, creating a content system. How are you going to go about doing it? How many posts are you going to make? Build that trust funnel. And so build some sort of funnel within your content ecosystem of, an example could be, short form is for reach. I'm going to talk about these main pillars to reach the most people, but to at the same time reach the right audience, have good messaging. And then I'm going to send them to long form to spend more time with them, kind of walk them through more of my sales process, show my results, give them an idea of what working with me one-on-one could look like. Maybe I'll throw in some email, maybe some retargeting for people that are just kind of on the edge of things. And so building out some sort of content funnel. If you want to see the exact funnel that I run for my agency, my coaching business that I've scaled to 20K a month, I'll link a video in the top right now where you can see exactly what I'm doing and what we're doing for clients actively, and then scale strategically. Another thing is to avoid common mistakes. And so a lot of people will fall into this trick, and they'll fall into this trap of basically just following all these different hacks and trying to basically find this easy way of going about it. And so don't copy service level tactics, focus on actual brand building, think long-term, and stay consistent, right? It's not about the algorithm hacks, the hashtags. That's really not what does it. And if you think it is, just think about how, like, do you think that any one of these people thought, oh, I need to use the right hashtags, that's why my business isn't making money. Oh, I'm not using the right algorithm trick, that's why it's not making money. Not a single one of them would think something like this. And so that's not something you should be thinking about. And so now, going back to this, the next steps from here. So if you are watching this video right now and you want to implement something like this into your own business, and you run a coaching business, info offer, or any sort of service-based business, and you can benefit from having more leads through social media and building an evergreen personal brand and asset for your business, and you just want to implement the trust funnel right away, you want to move quick, what you can do is check the description below where you can click a link to book a call directly with me so that I can basically hand you a custom roadmap and give you the course of action for setting this all up and implementing it and seeing what could be optimized in the first place, if we're a good fit to step in and help you out here, basically take it all off of your hands. But if you remember anything from this video, I want it to be this, to remember that they're not selling products, they're building empires through personal brands, right? Something that a lot of people don't understand because they don't see everything going on behind the scenes.